Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to game number 1 between Elevate and Team Kaliber. One of these teams goes home. Courage, Chance. Chance sounds like he's about to die any moment. We're going into game number 1, Compound Hardpoint. Chance, predictions for this series?
Oh, that's a very good question. Based on the way TK played yesterday, I'm going to have to go ahead and pretty much give that to Elevate. But Elevate didn't do so hot either, so really could go either way. It's just about what Elevate shows up to the table. And obviously, it's one of those things. I think Dito was tweeting about it at a past event. Like, any team can beat any team in any given day. It's about who shows up, again, collectively. So if TK can fix their mistakes that they were making yesterday, they're going to be in great shape. And that was the team that wanted to make sure they were getting in their practice so they could get warmed up for this match.
Did I think either of these teams would be knocked out in 8th through 12th? No. But one of them is right now. Honestly, TK really let me down yesterday. These guys need to just wake up right away. They need to come out of the gates firing. Nameless is doing that right now. 5-3 with that AR in hand. He's going to be battling all series long against the likes of Classic, who's right now 6-2.
Yep, and you can see pretty close game right off the bat. Of course, we are nearly at a tie score, but that's as expected. The important part about this first hill is making sure you get the rotations for the next, and it looks like TK has already locked down those spawns. You see Neslo waiting for those players to come on the flank. Might have been pushed over a little bit too far, but still able to win at least one fun fight. Gonna get the second on Slacked as well, but then gonna get taken down by the ever-powerful stuns.
Something funny to point out is the team that beat TK 4-0 yesterday, Rise, is already out of the tournament. They just got knocked out. Right now, Rise, obviously down and out of things. Theory currently 1-3, getting hit by a stun, and he's basically useless for the next 5 to 6 seconds because they are so strong in this game. Slacked, rocking that AR. We've seen him do it basically through the majority of Advanced Warfare. More than holds his own with it. Definitely doesn't come to mind when you think, oh, the best ARs in this game, but he's very solid with it, very consistent. 20-37 right now. Elevate doing all they can to come back into this game. TK, they just need to win this one in dominant fashion. They need something in their favor to get them fired up. This is a squad we've seen Theory get fired up before. Sharp's always lighthearted, having a good time. When Nameless gets pumped, he's called the Zeus for a reason. And you got Neslo, who is a player who feeds off of energy. TK need that right now. And
this is the second time that we have seen TK winning the rotation battle, and they're winning it by a landslide. It's not even like Elevate is getting competitive over towards the hill. TK always in full control right off the bat. Of course, you see Elevate, because of those stuns, able to break through the nades, excuse me. But TK, with those good stuns, are going to be fighting right back. But it looks like you see those blue arrows flooding in on that bottom right-hand corner. That's going to be Slack. That is going to push TK all the way out, and TK is going to have to be working back from the deficit as Elevate able to tie it up and take the lead.
Theory with the nice flank through that next hard point, catches Slacked off guard, trying to break in towards the dark room, runs out of ammo, whiffs the beatdown. He's got a teammate there trying to stay alive, but that's, I believe, Saints inside the hard point, picking up a 2-piece. Saints 14-8 on a 4 streak. The Elevate guys were warming up long before this match started. Got to see Saints for a second, wish him some good luck. He was looking more determined than really I've ever seen him before. This is a guy who was dominant through all of Ghosts, held the highest, or he was the only player who didn't have a single negative event in regards to KD. Right now, double positive, leading his team to a 20-second lead.
Yeah, getting some perfect pre-fire as well, and you can see that results in the score. Of course, again, TK able to win the rotation battle. Definitely something to keep in mind as we progress on and on through this game. Of course, it is going to be Nameless actually taking out his teammate there with a stun grenade. Again, they're very powerful in this game, but nonetheless, it is still going to be TK in control for the moment. They're going to have to stop Saints, which is good to shut him down. We saw what he was able to do on the previous hill, so that is, at least a saving grace for TK, but you can see Classic in working in tandem with Slack, able to get in, and Saints, again, going to be leading the charge for Elevate. Neslo trying to cause problems, just trying to contest, but it looks like Elevate a little bit too strong when it comes to slaying, able to get their opponent out of that hill.
So this is a map where I've seen Slack do some of the best work in regards to movement and utilizing the different aspects of these hills that you don't see on other maps. In regards to this one, obviously that bottom tunnels area, he's very strong at knowing when to drop down, letting the opposing team take control, and then double jumping up and catching them off guard. At the start of this game, nothing too crazy from him. Definitely a player to keep watching.
Yeah, without a doubt, and you can see about a 20-point lead right now coming in for the squad of Elevate. Elevate with, you see Saints on a 5 streak, TJ Halley's going to be on a 2, Classic even on a 1, and you see right now the rotation has come in on this next hill. Elevate going to be in full control. See Theory, though, trying to break in. He's able to pick up 2. TJ Halley is going to be there, though, able to get that kill on Nameless, but nonetheless, Elevate in full control.
Up by 50 seconds now. Elevate beginning to pull away. Saints continuing to be double positive. One thing to take note of is really TK. This is where they just begin to falter. They're trying to stay in the game, but they never give themselves an advantage. They just continue to kind of struggle in regards to right now in matching the slang of Elevate. Saints staying alive inside this hard point. He's got the help from his teammates. A full 1 minute lead now for the boys of Elevate. Yeah,
and this is definitely the best hill that we have seen from Elevate the entire time. You know, a few seconds of contention coming in, but they have really started to pull away with this one. It was a close game for every single hill. TK was fighting, but again, Elevate just cranking up the pressure, and you can see after the first half, they have about a 65 or 67, something like that point lead, looking outstanding. Of course, TK going to be the first ones in that next hill again. TK able to win the majority of the rotation battles, but you can see they're winning the rotation battles, and it's just being able to keep it close because Elevate, very strong team when it comes to slang. So TK is going to have to keep that up and can't allow any leeway to come in.
Okay, Sharp turns back, destroys Slack. They're momentarily Slack playing a much more statue AR type role for his team at the moment. Classic being a little bit more aggressive, 3 captures to his name. Slack is just trying to keep control of the good areas of the map. He's going to push through middle right now, get in this corner, and just cut off players, push through the hard point. There's Theory, that's 1. Picks up the second kill on Sharp. Heads up play from him. A full 1 minute lead and growing for Elevate. They're leading in the slang. All 4 players are positive. All 4 players are negative on TK. They're doing a better job of staying alive inside the hard point. Yes, TK was doing a better job in the earlier rotations, but when you can't hold the darn hill, it's not going to be a recipe for victory. Things are getting out of hand pretty quick.
Yeah, and it looks like Sharp is going to get dropped, and that's actually a clean 4 down for Elevate. So again, the only hill we've seen Elevate get the early rotation, they pulled a near full 60 seconds, and that's exactly what is going to be happening, at least at the start of this one. Elevate trying to put up a full 60, of course. Classic in the back, trying to lock down those spawns, and you see those blue arrows are coming in at the top left-hand corner of the minimap. You can see the players for TK right now trying to flood in, but they are just getting picked off one by one. TJ Halley right now going to be on a 4 streak. He's getting hot, and again, the slang power for Elevate just too strong, especially when they win the rotation battle.
Heads up play by Sharp, gets the spawns held down for his team. Still 30 seconds on this hill. TK are in the better positioning for, but they need to hold this down. One final push coming out of Elevate. First 2 kills going in favor of the Red Rebellion. TJ Halley now into the hard point, gets 2, gets the 3rd with the help of Classic. The rotations now coming in from both squads. Only 1 player for TK in a position here. That's Sharp. He's just got to stay alive.
Yeah, without a doubt. And of course, he's trying to do just that. You see his 1 shot jumping in and out of the hill, but the teammate support has come in. Neslo able to pick up 2. Sharp's going to have to win his gunfight, though, and the hip fire able to come in successfully, taking down Saints. Of course, last time around, Saints was the player who ended up going on a 6 or 7 streak inside the hill. Sharp is trying to do that exact same thing, but all of his teammates died around him, and Saints with the nade able to take down Sharp. A perfectly clean break coming out of Elevate.
A swift 4 dead on TK. They're now down by 80 seconds. Mind you, they have yet to win a map so far this tournament, losing 0-4 against Rise yesterday. Oh gosh, if TK of all teams doesn't win a single map, that is just horrible to see. Obviously 4 veteran players on this squad. They have a lot of potential, but I feel like a lot of it remains untapped when facing some of these younger players. Right now, TJ 30 and 27. Saints putting up the numbers that you always expect from him. Every single player positive. Right now, TK being outslayed by over 20 kills.
And it just seems like anytime TK even gets close to the hill, someone steps up for Elevate, picks up a 2-piece, picks up a 3-piece right there. We saw both Saints and TJ Halley both able to get it too. And it's just like all the momentum, it like instantaneously is just completely killed, and TK just can't get anything going. And now we even see the rotation battle being won, at least for the moment, by Elevate. You see that is going to be a clean 4 down right there for TK. But again, they're down by about 80 points. They're going to need every single second.
And who was that just popped up from underneath? That was Slack. Kills the 1 player inside the hard point. That's going to open up for Classic to try to push in. Not able to make much happen. But something I want to point out, the aggressive pushes that come from Elevate, when they push out the hill, get towards the middle of the map, they demand map control when they can't shut down the likes of Saints and let him play into his play style. That's where Elevate always succeeds. It's showing right now. The lead is now 100 seconds. This game's been over for over half a minute. Game 1 going over to Elevate, dominating in the hard point. Saints 40 and 25, leading the game in captures, leading the game in kills, and he's tied for the least amount of deaths. You can't ask for much more from Renata.
I mean, you said he looked focused coming in. He is showing it right now. He's got everything going for him as well. Now, of course, this game way past the point where it's over. TK already have to think about that S&D, and based on what we've seen in this first map, the hardpoint game has to be given to Elevate almost without a doubt. So you got to think already in the series, let's say it goes to game 7, 2 of those are already going in favor of Elevate. So that means the S&Ds are must wins for TK. See how they're going to be able to bounce back for game 2.
I couldn't agree more with you. 3 S&Ds in these best of 7s. TK needs to win all 3. If TK win the series, I'm telling you right now, it's going 7 games.
Without a doubt. And even for the end, though, when you want to talk about momentum or if that's ever on your mind, there was 10 kills in a row towards the end there, all in favor of Velit. Make it 11 as Slack actually finishes on a 5 streak. So that is a terrifying stat line to be going up against in Hardpoint, excuse me. All 4 players positive, and not even like +1, +2. I mean, they are all positive by a good margin. The lowest one is only +5. And again, no one from DK really seemed to make any sort of dent at all. We saw the occasional live Theory, I think, at one point picked up a 3Bs. Neslo broke Hill with 2. But every single time they got anything going for them, they got shut down immediately.
It's the same TK from what we saw yesterday. You can see Theory shaking his head. No smiles on that side of the booth. +36 in the slaying department was Elevate. You are never going to win a hard point when you're outslayed by that much. Do not go anywhere. We'll see if TK can bounce back in game number 2 and win their first map of the MLG Pro League Season 3 Championship.
Welcome back, Season 3 playoffs. What we have now, earlier we had the beating that Rise took. It was just, complete whitewash in favor of Denial, and now we have Elevate doing the exact same thing to TK, at least early on. The Hardpoint was just absolutely abusive. Never a moment where I thought TK had it. They were winning the rotation battles after the 3rd hill. Once it got completely blown up by Elevate, they never looked back. Absolute destruction, of course. We got to see if TK is going to be able to bounce back in the S&D, but honestly, just based off that first one, it's going to be a tough task.
Looking back on that game number 1, there's really nothing else to break down. Elevate just wound up doing everything better after about the first minute and a half of play, and they just ran away with it. This time around, though, let's see what type of damage Theory can do with the Morse. I want to hop on board with him at the start. Does he have it in hand? No. Okay, so no AR, no Morse from TK. Expect an aggressive push from them. Off the start, Theory with the spals going to peek this A Street. TJ's in the back of the map. No one has been picked up as of yet, but look where Saints has already pushed up to.
Yep. Saints waiting to catch a player either out of yellow tunnel or trying to go top jungle. Of course, that bomb getting slow played over by that A bomb side. Of course, TK just wants to get a pick. Playing it standard as we've seen so many times, but they're playing passive, which honestly, after the beating you just took in the hard point, I wouldn't want to be forcing those gunfights either. I want the players to come to me. So Theory, you can even see, was thinking about getting that bomb down, but the stun check is going to force him back off.
Classic's been spotted. Sharp's going to try to chase down this kill. Nestle's already picked him up. Now they'll begin the push down the A Street. They can't get caught in this awkward timing, though. They need to make a push happen. TJ in the back of the map with the Moore somehow stays alive. Here comes the flank, though, from Slack as well as Saints. 1 kill going in favor of Elevate. TJ picking up one of his own. It's now a 1v1. Slack versus Neslo. Neslo already 2 kills to his name this round.
Yeah, that was huge for TJ to be able to get a pick with that sniper rifle. Obviously, he was getting double teamed, so just to even those odds is going to be huge for the possibilities of Slack. Of course, Neslo right now is going to be getting that bomb down, and he's going to be able to do it clean. Slacked a little bit too far away, but you're going to see Slack just immediately sprint over to check that bomb to figure out where where Neslo goes, he knows he's down low.
Yeah, he should know he's down low. Neslo going to begin to peek this bottom yellow side. Slack spots him. Beautiful screen centering, but Neslo gets the upper hand on him. 3 kills from Neslo, the best search and destroy player on this team from UMGDC. It's now transferred over here in this round number 1. He knew Slack was going to be in midair. Might as well just challenge it. Even though he's weak, picks up the gunfight win with that headshot. Round number 1 going over to TK all day.
And you got to think what happens if he doesn't challenge. He knows that he's kind of hung out to dry. He's already gotten shot once. He knows Slack is going to play aggressive, and he's going to be stuck down low either way. So pretty much forced his hand, but Neslo able to pick up 3 solid round out of him. Now, though, it is going to be Slack already getting the first blood in favor of Elevate. And look who he shuts down, Neslo.
Exactly. Big point to mention there is Neslo's already dead. They're going to flood this A street. Now a 4v2. Sharp in a decent position here in maps. Missing the gunfight, though, on that one player right outside near the white trailers. He's going to challenge middle street, picks up 1, but just like that, TK falls. Elevate now on the board.
Yeah, and that just goes back to the hard point. A lot of aggression coming out of Elevate. They're forcing the engagements, and that is when they are at their absolute best, at least when compared to this TK squad. TK plays a lot slower. We even saw on the offense way more passive, and even there, Sharp just hung out to dry because his teammates fell one after one. Obviously, when you get first blooded with a nade, it makes it tougher to begin with, and Elevate, again, just full force flooding.
Think of the difference there. When TK pushed that A street, they pushed slowly. It almost came back to bite him as TJ was able to pick up a more shot. Neslo clutched the 1v1, but that could have very easily gone into Elevate's favor. In that round number 2, Elevate push all the way down that A street. They get the nade kill, and they push the agenda. It works out in their favor. First blood going over to Elevate yet again. Nameless answers back with 2 beatdowns in a row, giving people the hands. Now the flank from behind, he should fall to Saints. That's going to leave Sharp in the 1-on-2. Spots one player, very heads-up play not to shoot. They know where the bomb is down at. Elevate, sticking together like you'd expect. Heads-up play from the Red Rebellion. I've said heads-up 15 times. Chance, I'm going to let you talk.
Okay, well, you see the players right now on Elevate. They're going on a flank, playing relatively aggressively, pushing all the way around. And Sharp, of course, can just say, okay, let me get that bomb and plant it today. But by that time, Elevate, I don't think they're going to waste any time. They're going to rotate from the rotation that they're already on. They cleared out B. Now they're going to check A. Sharp, meanwhile, is just playing super, super slow. And it looks like Elevate might be able to time this perfectly and come up on the flank.
Chance, I feel like you've aged 20 years overnight when listening to your voice. Maybe 30. Oh, Sharp gives away his position. That's why you stay together. Easily picking up that kill. Chance, you right?
No, man, I'm dying over here.
Right
it is so bad. Oh, it's ridiculous.
You look like you're struggling. I feel for you. I'm here for you. I'm your emotional backup. I'm rubbing your back right now. The stream can't see it. Maybe we can show this momentarily. I'm rubbing your back. See that? Look at that. That's what we're here for each other. All right. Let's get back into the game. People want to see this, not us touching each other. But Slack 3-1. Let's see if he gets a pick right up the round with the nade. Not able to connect with one as of yet, but already you can see top yellow is Neslo. He's a man on the mission.
Yeah, without a doubt, he's going to be able to get that first blood as well. Picking up TJ Halley, of course, classic, going to even the odds as he's able to get a pick on Theory. And neither team successfully aiding to trade their opponent. Of course, Name's going to be in gunfight. Had 2 people shooting at him, 1 from each direction, and Saints able to clean up that kill. But again, TK left in the tough situation. Neslo and Sharp going against pretty much the entire Elevate team.
Neslo did just give away his position with that boost, but the quick reaction time from Saints hits the beat down, and now Sharp is in another 1vX situation. This time it's 3. Gets 1. Spots a second, but the good shots coming out of the player on Elevate. Round advantage staying in Elevate's favor, and they're now up 3-1.
And honestly, just the way that Hardpoint went, I don't think there's any way that honestly TK is going to be able to work their way back into this one. They haven't had any momentum at all this entire tournament. Saints, meanwhile, though, we saw that insane stat line that he had in the Hardpoint. Most kills, tied for the fewest amounts of death, most defends by far. And he was literally doing it all. Most caps, literally the best stat line you could possibly have. Now in S&D, he's on a 6 streak. He's sitting at 7-2. Even Saints versus TK is a pretty good matchup, and I might still give the edge to Saints.
Well, he's already getting aggressive with that bow towards top jungle. You can see on your minimap 3 players of TK on the A site. Does TJ have the Morse? No, that's classic in the back of the map with the AR. Nades coming in on Theory. He picks up first blood. You need your trophy system if you're going to hop right on the site. Heads up play to have 4 nades going near that bomb. No kills coming down with guns as of yet. Saints putting some shots down on Neslo. Neslo peeks out towards middle map. He should have the upper hand on Slack in middle. Neslo needs to pick up this kill. He does just that. Now a 1-on-2. Saints and TJ last alive. 4 straight rounds for Elevate. They go up 4-1.
And you can just see the smiles on their faces. And meanwhile, TK, you know, Theory, like a little bit into it, but the guys, most of the part, they're just down. Like there is nothing that seems to be working for them at all. Even the individual gunfights, they're losing those. So you can't even get those trades. People picking up 2 pieces on Elevate. They're just getting completely dismantled, more or less. They were picked apart in the Hardpoint. They're getting picked apart in Search. This is just bad. And
people say all the time, you know, what are casters talking about? Like these guys weren't pro players. Look at that right there. We mentioned how momentum and just overall feeling in the booth. TK is a happy team. They're all friends, but when they're down like this, they're down, and you could see just in their faces. Elevate right now, you think they're playing pubs. They're just all smiling. They're having a good time, like they're in a Skype call online. They're here at a tournament, and they're having the time of their lives. It's a difference maker in these games. When everyone's motivated on your team, when everyone's feeling good, it makes a difference in their challenges, in their confidence, in their shot. Right now, Elevate looking very strong. They're up 4-1. Slack able to pick up 2. He's going to get challenged from behind, still trying to stay alive. That's Neslo coming from behind him. Picks up a 3rd kill on Theory. Going to be a 1-on-1. Almost clutches the 1v4. That shouldn't be that close. That's another example. That should not be that close.
But you're over here talking about like, oh yeah, they're feeling good, they're doing great, they're so happy, treating it like a pub. Meanwhile, they're getting picked off 1 by 1, and I'm like, Jack, like you probably need to stop just a little bit. And then Slack gets 1 kill, and I was like, well, then he gets a 2nd. I was like, okay, I see where you're coming from. Gets the 3rd, and I was like, holy crap, dude, like this is bad. This is a public match.
If he turned around and killed Nestle, I would have stopped casting.
Yeah, like that basically was rank play for a second there for Slack. That was brutal. So Saints had the best stat line. Then they left Slack in 1 versus 4, and he at least made it interesting. That is ridiculous stuff. But TK still able to win the round at the very least, but they're still going to be down by 2. Nameless was able to get the trade on Saints. That's one thing that's been lacking for both teams a little bit in those actual trades. Of course, TJ still sitting in the back with the sniper rifle waiting for a pick. But nonetheless, a true 3v3 situation.
Theory should have spotted Slack in the B-bomb site. He's going to challenge a player in the back of the map with the Morse. That's TJ trying to stay alive. Nice stun, but there's an example of how strong stun grenades are in AW. They do 1 damage if you get hit by them. The 3 shots from the bow weren't enough. Obviously, that range is out of the bow's 3-shot kill range because that's been obviously nerfed down to a very short area. There, though, TJ falls 4-3. Elevate still in the lead.
TK getting some rounds on the board. And we've seen Theory mixing up the strats a little bit as well. Saw him pull out the sniper rifle 1 round, and it was successful for him. Got the first blood, wasting no time, not even sticking with it, switching back over, and he was able to pick up 2 with the bow. That had a pretty rough start, but is beginning to slowly turn it around at the very least. And that's exactly what TK needs. They need all 4 players firing on all cylinders because Elevate just having too much fun with it so far.
Saints still double positive. We'll see what Elevate winds up doing. They haven't pulled out a Moors on offense as of yet. TJ still rocking that bow. We'll see what it's going to do in this next round. First blood going over to Classic. He's going to begin to challenge through middle map. Not sure if I agree with that decision, but he might have just been caught out there. More shots coming in from Sharp on the B-bomb site. Now this is where Elevate needs to make a decision, but as Nameless begins to pinch, TJ's reaction time is almost instant. They should be able to push down this A Street now, and that's an example, right, of where Elevate should have been caught on that A Street. Nameless should have gotten the kill, and they should have all collapsed and died. But in this game, Elevate are able to make the miraculous plays happen. They're now up 5-3, 1 round away from going up 2-0 in this best of 7.
And think about how TJ even got that kill on Nameless. Sharp saw him, tagged him up. Granted, it was only 1 bullet, but still TJ was a little bit weak. Nameless comes around the corner, knows exactly where he's going to be. TJ, meanwhile, is going to be clueless. He knows to check the flank just to see what's going on, but Nameless could be jumping, like double jumping off a top jungle, could be up in the air, could be down low over in like the back building. He could be anywhere, and still TJ was able to lock on and get that kill before Nameless took him down. It comes down to these individual gunfights, and it seems Elevate is always on top.
Neslo a 1.33 S&D KD at UMGDC. Nameless a 1.20 of his own. Classic just destroyed Nameless, as I mentioned him, and just like that, Elevate wipes out TK in round number 9, and they win your game 2. Recovery S&D 6-3. Here's your final kill from Slack. All 4 players of Elevate holding their own. Again, another game where they just outperformed TK.
Without a doubt, and even that last round, Elevate, they basically spawn flipped. That round lasted, what, 20, 25 seconds, and the players from Elevate were already in the spawn of TK. Sharp, at the end, had to turn around to where he, like, came from. He managed to walk about 20 feet, and then he's like, oh, God, they're already behind me. That's how quickly Elevate was playing, and TK just could not handle it at all.
Map 3 is going to be Biolab Uplink. I mean, that map right there, that S&D was a must-win. I don't see how TK win this series, man. They're going to go into Biolab Uplink. If they lose that one, retreat Hardpoint. I fear it's going to be a slaughter. Guys, don't go anywhere. Prayers for TK, man. Hopefully they can begin to come back. We'll see if they're able to make it happen after this quick commercial break.
Welcome back, Season 3 playoffs. Let's get it. We got TK, we got Elevate, and we mainly have Elevate. Elevate's doing pretty well.
We just got some updates from the Alpha Stream. Optic Nation just took down TCM 4-2. TCM struggles continue. That's now 2 teams eliminated from this tournament, Rise and TCM. We'll see if TK will join them next. Biolab Uplink, going to be your game number 3. Chance, honestly, do you see TK mounting the comeback?
Nope. Wow. Well, okay, so here's something you were saying earlier, how you think, like, if TK doesn't win the uplink, that retreat hardpoint's not going to go well. I'm going to make the prediction that TK does lose this one, Elevate continues the destruction, but then TK comes back and wins on retreat.
Really? And then just
loses right after that.
Yeah. So they do close it out in 5 games. Slack picking up the kill on Neslo. Drone control split by either team at the moment. Sharp trying to pick it up. He did have a lead blocker inside of blue. Questionable decision there, though, to say the least. He didn't have anybody else up on his team. It looks like they're going to wrap the drone towards green. Very confident play out of Elevate. TK getting caught off guard momentarily. They're now having to rotate back to their base. He's got 2 lead blockers. Very good chance for a score from the Red Rebellion.
Yeah, and TJ pulling some nice moves.
That's
hit
why
the
he's one of the best in this game
toss.
mode, Chance.
And it took him, what, a half second to even figure that play out, waste no time. One teammate drops, he was like, all right, break the window. Jumps out, successful play out of there. But it seriously does seem like Elevate is just playing at a different pace than TK, a pace that's too fast for him, and TK really just can't seem to handle it.
Yeah, we'll see if they're able to bounce back in this game number 3. TJ wins that gunfight versus Neslo. One more gun battle happening near the drone. That's Theory up against Saints, and Saints takes him down. So far this series, Saints is my MVP for this Elevate lineup. He's continuing to run the drone. Now in the hands, they should hit ice. He should run it right through ice, but he's deciding not to, and you can see. Who's this on the minimap right now? TJ actually gets caught off guard by that. The hesitation just gave Elevate enough time to spawn up. Sharp goes for the 1-point play. And it bounces off the map. Or no, it's still on the map, but falls short.
Well, TK might be in a position to make the stop. They're going to have to pick up the kills, and that's just something they have not been able to do. Nameless trying to get those stuns down just to pick up some players, but that drone probably going to get out for the 15-second reset. That is going to be the case, but Nameless putting on some pressure, not going to make a difference. TK, again, just getting stopped on defensive. Sharp, though, on the flank, able to get two, and you see there is quite a bit of clearance as well, but Neslo's going to have to pick up that kill. That's 2 down in their favor. Elevate trying to wrap back from Green Plat.
This is the best chance they've had to score. Drone in the hands of Theory. Still going, trying to go for the dunk. He slides on in, connects with the 2-point play. TK in the lead. But let's quickly talk about that decision from Sharp to hesitate for a second before running through ice. His teammates knew that 3 were down. He decided to hesitate. He ran towards the red side of the map. The last player that was up was there. That was TJ. TJ was running back towards his base, thinking Sharp was going to immediately run it through ice. It didn't wind up happening. There's another one-point toss that was missed by TK. This should be an easy score from Elevate, at least a 1-point play to say the least. Nope, TJ's going to go for the dunk. And he misses completely. He just missed a dunk.
So talk about costly mistake after costly mistake. 2 missed 1-point shots from TK. Now, of course, he missed a dunk completely. Not something you see all too often, and TK is going to be trying to capitalize off of this. You see Theory with that drone has some lead blockers, of course, classic. Going to be making that stop early on, and he just looks like he's just going to convert, go for the 1-point toss. TJ was distracted, busy killing his teammate, and of course, that is going to result in a 1-point play. TK with a 3-1 lead.
Saints has to hold off all 4 players of TK trying to get control of blue. He gets 1, and Neslo's able to clean him up on the trade. Who's this flanking all the way through mid-bio? That was Slack. Sharp playing very well so far in this game. Number 3 currently sitting at 11-5. Heads up play to stop the flank coming in from Elevate, but as he does that, the rest of his teammates do fall. He dies to Classic. Drone control back over to the Red Rebellion. Now, they're down 3-1, right? And they're on the less preferred side. If they go into the half down by 2, do you think Elevate will be able to make the comeback and close out the game?
It depends. If they keep missing their dunks like they have in the past, no, there's no way, because it's pretty hard to score when you miss the portal completely. Ooh, and of course, TK, again, and trying to capitalize on that. That's a 2-point dunk without a doubt. Theory able to jump that one in. You see the stuns were trying to come in, has too much coverage, not going to make that mistake. And of course, TK, 5-1 lead. This is pretty big as well, because TK, they have not won a single map this entire tournament so far. They have just been getting the hands without a doubt. And Elevate been looking even stronger than Rise did against them so far. But at least, you know, TK showing some life on the good side of Uplink Buy.
Something to point out is in game number 1, the first respawn of this series, Elevate outslayed TK by 36 kills. In this game number 3 right now, TK's outslaying their opponents by 6 kills. So definitely turn things around in regards to the slaying, and now they're up by 4. When TK can match the slaying of their opponents, they definitely give themselves a chance. Neslo puts in the 1-point play, a 3-possession lead for Team Kaliber with 30 seconds remaining.
And that is huge as well, and they might be able to continue to put on the pressure. They have control of the drone area. They're going to have to pick up some kills. Theory going to be the guy to do the damage. He is going to get taken down. Elevate now going to have 20 seconds to try to get a score on the board. They have purple control. The UCC TJ was trying to get that kill on the flank. That's not going to be the case. However, there are a few lead blockers. Classic, though, going to have to do something with the drone. Just going to juke back over to mid-map, but still 7 seconds left. TK has it completely stacked.
Oh, my God.
We're going into the half with a 6-1 lead for TK.
I think 9 stuns were just thrown by either team. Good pass towards the opposing squad to pick up the kill. At the half, TK's up 6-1. Theory with a little bit of a smile on his face. The Elevate guys looking a little bit more calm now. Not many smiles on that side of the booth, but one thing I do want to point out, and this kind of goes back to the stun discussion, is something we saw on Twitter the other day. Forget which pro player said it, but they basically said we should use variable grenades. And basically with variable grenades, you can pick which type you want. You can have smokes, you can have stuns, you can have and all the different nade types, but you can't double tap X to explode the stun grenade. And that's a big difference. That's what makes stuns so strong in AW. Obviously, they have other perks as well that they make your guy flinch if you don't have hardwired on. They do blind, they do slow, all those aspects. But the double tapping of stuns is what makes pros immediately shoot them off in S&D because you can just hit them like precision shots. Do you think that's something we should kind of think of? Obviously, AW is winding down, but do you wish that was maybe implemented a few months ago into the game, or do you think we're fine with how the stuns are right now?
Variable grenades will be useful in the fact that if you see a team is adjusting to your strategy, you see if they're pulling out hardware to stop something, you can just immediately switch to smoke and you don't have to worry about the class. But I do think that being able to double tap it is just too valuable to have, and I don't think you're going to see too many people make that switch. That's like a Fizzerp type thing. People that want to go against the meta, maybe they pull it out, but I don't think that's that's going to be picked up and be the whole thing. It's just way too late in the game cycle to even really experiment with that.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, though, Elevate is able to get 2 points on the board. Still, though, they are down by 5 because we saw earlier TK was able to get a score. But another thing about the Suns, think about how important it is to slow down people's momentum in Advanced Warfare. You stun a person in like Black Ops 1, Black Ops 2, it stops them for about 10 feet. Though in Advanced Warfare, you stun them, it costs them 50 feet. And yeah, that was pretty good.
Theory, his entire goal there was to go on the flank and kill the player grabbing the drone. Well, Saints just destroyed him. He gets in the 1-point toss and then beats him off the respawn as well. Saints continuing to stay alive, trying to grab that drone for his team. Finally, TK getting some map presence near the blue side of the map. TJ losing that gunfight versus Neslo, but Sharp says, hey, I'm here to help you out, TJ. I'll pick him up for you. 8-4, Elevate still in this game.
Elevate trying to make the comeback. Of course, you see Slack trying to go for that blue control. There's one player from TK that's going to be in there causing problems. I think that was Nameless. Saints, though, able to get that trade. It looks like he's going for that drone as well. Having problems with the window. Hasn't been having too many problems with the TK players, but you never know what inanimate object is going to be there just to slow down the momentum of Saints. And you see, it turned out to be successful. Of course, now Classic going to be there for the drone. That's a 1-point toss without a doubt. No one going to be in position to get that interception. At least Neslo was able to shut him down, but nonetheless, Elevate is just slowly chipping away at this lead.
Again, the flank was coming in momentarily for Theory. Then he tries to hit middle ice. One player inside circle with him. He wins that gun battle versus Slack. The drone now being run by Saints, deciding not to go for the 1-point toss. Passes it off to Classic, though, and the dunk goes in. 8-7. TJ picks up 3 kills. They still hold down control of the drone. More Elevate points are going to begin to stream in. They can't stop TJ. He picks up 2 more. We have ourselves a tied game.
And the strategy right now from TK is basically we're going to spawn up over in red, we're going to rotate over to our base, and we're going to die, rinse, and repeat. Now, of course, they got, spawned out. They're back to that drone control, but now they're going to have to keep control of that drone for the remaining 2 minutes. Elevate every single time they touched it. It's result in, at the very least, a 1-point play. Now, Saints going to be causing problems. There's 1 player left alive from TK anywhere nearby, and it looks like that is going to be Neslo in purple, but Saints has him in his sights nonetheless. Neslo, by the way, is on a 5 streak, make it 6, so definitely the player you want up for TK right now, but they need control. They need at least another dunk on the board.
Neslo's doing everything he can to stay alive in this tournament. Remember, TK is down 2-0 right now to Elevate, and we keep harping on it, but they've yet to win a map. They're 0-6 combined against Rise and Elevate. The drone back in the hands of TK. This is the first opportunity they've had to score since, well, the first minute of the side 2. Theory's going to throw it up for yards. He's got 2 teammates in a position to go for the dunk. He's going to try to chase it down himself. He picks it up, gets it in the portal, 10-8 with 1 minute and 15 seconds left. TK remain in the lead.
Theory playing quarterback and wide receiver. No idea what that thought process was. By the way, Neslo still on a 9 streak right now at the moment. Neslo on a 9 streak. He hasn't died in the past like 2 minutes. We said they needed to get a dunk on the board. That's exactly what Neslo was forcing in. Elevate, though, starting to make moves. They were able to shut Neslo down, and that's going to be 2 left alive. But, of course, you see Sharp able to pick up that kill. Slack going to be by himself, but they need a dunk. Looks like he might just be going for the 1-point toss just to get something on the board because, of course, they have 42 seconds left in it. They just need 1 more point, and he was able to do that by himself.
That's heads up play because now all they need to do is just clear out blue far enough to go for another 1-point toss like that, which they're attempting to do at the moment. They get at least 2 players down. Who's just hitting middle ice? Slack needs to go huge for his squad. Picks up 1 kill on Nameless, tries to turn on the player in green, not able to make it happen. But because of that 1-point play from Slack, that opens up the opportunity for Saints to do the same here. Was that a little bit short? Yes, it was. He completely whiffs the shot. That should have been an easy 1-point play. They have to send 1 player back. Slack going for the drone. Will he hit the hero 1-point play? He's going to rotate it towards blue. Someone begins to challenge that. Sharp, who cuts him down. TK will win map number 3. They've got 1 on the board, but it's really in part to the 1-point missed play from Saints. That should have been a textbook throw when hopping out of blue.
1-point miss. How about a missed dunk we saw earlier that cost Elevate 2 points? Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's been multiple mistakes that Elevate made, and you see TK was able to capitalize. They also had a 1 missed-point shot of their own, but in the end, they were able to clutch up on defense. I honestly thought they're going to be able to make that comeback without a doubt. Yeah. Obviously, Slack, he was completely by himself, and he had 3 players in front of him, still able to get the 1-point toss off from Big Green Crane, and makes it a 1-point game. They had plenty of time to work with. They had control. They had the, like, it in their hands. Elevate just threw it away.
You heard me say the second he threw it, I just kind of doubted if he got enough height on that one, and it didn't wind up going through. Once it fell off the map, that was basically the dreams of Elevate. Crushed heads-up play from Sharp to get the cutoff inside of blue. 2-1 in favor of Elevate. TK remaining alive. Game number 4 is going to be Retreat Hardpoint. Last time they played Hardpoint, TK got outslayed by 36 kills. We'll see if they're able to battle a little bit closer in this next one. Don't go anywhere. Prior to that game at number 3, Chance prayed for TK, and TK won a map. Going into game number 4, it's going to be Retreat Hardpoint. This is a map that I think we have to see Neslo and Sharp go off again, just like they did on that Biolab Uplink. They swapped to multiple ARs at the end of that game to make sure that they could kill the Elevate players from long range before they could go in for the 1-point toss. I'm hopping on board with Neslo off the start. If they've ever need Jeremy to go big right now, if you're a fan of TK, this is the map.
I never knew his name was Jeremy. Honestly, that doesn't make any sense.
You don't follow anybody on Twitter. You don't keep up with the community.
Wow, I follow plenty of people on Twitter. Thank you. It's like 100 people or something like that. That's a lot. Nonetheless, though, Classic able to get that initial first blood. Elevate going to be making moves early on, but TK trying to flood in the hill. I've already sent 2 or 3 separate bodies, and there you can see Theory is able to pick up 2. Nameless showing up as well. In Theory, milking that hill time right off the bat.
Pretty surprised to see no presence inside Towels from Elevate, giving Neslo just a free kill. There's the beatdown on Slack. They'll pick up the ASM1 as well. You can think he's thinking for the long term. When he stops to pause and pick up the ASM1, that's going to let him get aggressive just like this. He's continued to control Towels finally. Saints hits the beatdown. Sharp is going to be the player going on the flank. He picks up the kill on Slack. TK showing up at the start of this game, and this is one of the maps where they really struggle on off the break. Typically they run a 2AR, 2-sub setup. So far, it's working in their favor, and you know what it is? It's because they're running 3 ARs. That's it. They've had Theory swap to the AR for this first kill. It's worked out so far. Big difference. Up by 10 after the first hardpoint.
And of course, more importantly, they have the hill control early on for Turtle as well. Of course, Sharp pushing out those good spawns, trying to do what he can. Able to pick up 1, but you can see Classic shuts him down. Not going to make a difference. Neslo is able to pick up 2. Nameless got the other 2. And TK looking pretty good right off the bat.
Why are you laughing?
Hardpoint. Because the voice sounds so bad.
Oh, dude.
It sounds like shit, dude. It is terrible.
Oh, wow. Okay, well, all right. You're being quite honest with us all on the broadcast. I've never heard those words before. I'm only 12 years old. Nameless inside the hardpoint, able to win the gunfight against the player on pool of wall. Chance If you're the boys of Elevate right now, what's really going wrong for you outside of Slack being 2-8?
I think it's just the knowledge that it's a family show. They're really just struggling this time.
Yes, you said it!
In the Hardpoint, of course. Now, again, it's really, though, it's the first thing we saw earlier on the compound. It's where TK is winning the rotation battle. This time, though, again, when TK is playing passively, that's their game. They can kind of hang out and pick people off left and right. It's really when Elevate is the one putting on the pressure that they can't handle it. So TK, they haven't been too successful in breaking the hills, but when they get that early control down, they do okay.
They did a better job of it on Biolab, but this is really the first time where it's been their pace of a game that they want, as you just mentioned. They've got 3 ARs. They've continued to dominate the map in regards to what they want to hold down. They are Sharp is staying alive inside the Hardpoint. He's more than holding his own on that front. Neslo and Theory are the big Bal players as of right now, up by 70 seconds. They've kept Elevate with only 15 seconds in the first 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, and you can see Slack, quite a bit of a slow start coming out of him. Triple negative, a little bit more than that, sitting at 4 and 13. And, you know, TK, we said that all 4 players have to show up. Now, if players for Elevate start slowing down, they're still a very powerful team, but TK could definitely start to turn this around. Granted, this is the first map. We just saw the first map that they won in this entire tournament. They're going to need something to going, and it's kind of like in S&D when you don't have a kill yet. As soon as you get over that, like, donut hump that you got going on, it just all the confidence, well, not all of it, a little bit of it starts coming back to you, and the game becomes just a little bit easier. And TK using that so far.
I think the big thing to point out, right, is that this series isn't over. TK don't have their backs up against the wall as of yet. Obviously, this is an elimination match, but they're down 2-1 in a best-of-7. In a typical best-of-5, this would be a must-win map. But this time around, TK,
oh God,
if they still lose this Hardpoint, they have a chance. The big thing to point out, though, is they cannot let this momentum slip. If this comeback happens, they're going to lose full, and Elevate's going to close out the game, this series, and the next game.
TK, though, running up the lead, you know, full force, an 80-point lead, and this is only after 3.5 minutes of this match, and TK still in hill control as well, doing a phenomenal job to outslay their opponent. Maybe the 3 Bals has been what's paying off for them, and you can see the full control that they've had. Nameless had 3 players to deal with. He was still able to win 1 gunfight, and of course the team kill not going to help anything. That is going to give Elevate a little bit of breathing room, but of course 5 seconds left. It doesn't matter if Elevate gets that, because TK again winning the rotation battle.
I love this TK squad when they use 3 ARs on the first 3 hardpoints of this map. They swapped to a 2-2 setup. Now though, it's still working in their favor. They're up by 90 at the moment, doing all they can to pull away with as big of a lead as possible. And Sharp's picking up 2 pieces like that, that's when TK's at their finest.
It just seems like such an easy, smooth 2-piece as well. They just kind of fall into the line of sight. Sharp always knowing what to preempt, nearly trying to turn on that player. Of course, Saint's not going to lose that gunfight when the back is turned to Sharp, but still, TK has that control. They've been able to get the first 30 seconds for the majority of the time, still running up the score. And who would have thought, after what we saw in that first hardpoint, did anyone predict that, you know, TK would not only win, but be winning by more than 100 points?
110-second lead, and there's still 5 minutes remaining. There's a chance for a 100-point club in this match. Theory getting challenged inside the hardpoint, wins 1 gunfight, spots a second, almost takes him down as well. Saints has been relatively quiet so far in this game. Didn't have a monstrous game number 3 either. Maybe that's the reason why Elevate lost that one up against TK. Theory inside the hardpoint. Sharp is inside of Towels. This is where I like to see Theory swap back to that Bal. We'll see what he spawned in with. Nope, still has that ASM1. We'll see how it winds up working out on this hardpoint.
Able to pick up 1, gonna get this second as well. Someone on Elevate might need to reset their Xbox, because that is just not working out for them at all. They're getting destroyed. Of course, though, they do have control of the hill, at least for the moment. Saints was able to pick up 2, Slack showing up a little bit as well, but still, they have to work up and make up for a lot of time. Now, 30 seconds left on the hill. The question is, does Elevate give up the scrap time just to make sure that they have the spawns locked down, or are they already to the point where they are fighting for every last second?
I think they're getting to that point. This one, if they can keep it even going in towards Statue and get the setup that they want, that's the position they want to be in. Something interesting to point out, Classic 29 and 22, positive 7, the rest of his teammates combined for over negative 20. Not a good spot to be in at all, but it was a 120-second lead, now a 100-second lead, and Elevate have the setup they need. They can't afford to let these this hardpoint get out of their grasp.
You know, yesterday we saw Optic Nation. They blew a 100-point lead in hardpoint. Me and Mr. X were already talking about how, like, the game's over. No way Optic Nation can come back. Now, Elevate also down by more than 100 points, but this is the hill where they could really start to do some damage. And you can see they do have full control. Of course, the kills right now being traded. Theory trying to get himself in the hill, still with that ASM1 out, but it looks like Elevate winning the gunfights for the moment. So we saw more than 100 points already cut down to 80. Elevate is chipping going away and relatively quickly.
This is like horde mode right now. Wave number 1 taken down. Here comes wave number 2. Nestle gets cut down. 2 waves have been stopped. Now only a 70-second lead. Nades beginning to fly in from the back stairs. Saints trying to cut down the players who push, missing every single shot. That's going to be the difference. He lets the enemies get through. Saints cannot afford to miss all those bullets. Oh, a sloppy sequence of events for Saints. Finally picking up 1 kill. The lead is back up to 80 seconds. There's that pinpoint accuracy you need. Elevate could have definitely held that down for the full 60. They let the opposing players get through the back stairs. It's a 70-second lead. They've got the early rotation again in their favor. We'll see how many waves they can hold off of TK again.
Either way, though, they pulled more than 30 points off that hill to get back in. If they get 30 on the next few hills, they're going to be right back into this game, and they can still make this happen. Of course, TK does have control. Lobby, Elevate is going to have to break, and they're going to have to break fast. Saints in the hill not going to win that gunfight. Nameless able to pick up 3, completely shutting Elevate down, at least for the moment. Slack, though, going to be back in the hill. Theory able to get that trade, and TK looking good to be able to run away with this one. Nameless showing up when he needs to.
Yeah, TK continuing to just make this around an 80-second lead with 2 minutes and 19 seconds remaining. Elevate needs to play these last couple of hard points absolutely flawlessly. We're on board now with Nameless. He hopped inside the hill, gets cut down. He's positive 8. Really, everyone on TK showing up this game. Yes, Sharp is 24-28, but he's been the person inside the hard point the whole game. As long as he can pick up 1 or 2 kills like he's doing right now, that's all you can ask from your main submachine gun player. 207 to 116 chance. This game is basically done in my mind. TK gonna tie up the series 2-2.
And not only done, it's not like they're scraping by with the wins like the Uplink. You could definitely say that Elevate threw it away. TK is taking advantage of that mistake, and they are just running through Elevate right now. And we saw Elevate yesterday when we were playing Epsilon. When they get down, it was tough for them to come back. So it's a team that they're definitely riding on kind of like the emotions of the match. And TK definitely using this to their advantage. Still, though, got a minute and a half left, but you can just see even the stat line right now for TK. Theory leading the lobby, 38 kills, and he's got 11 caps to his name as well, doing great. Well, not leaving the lobby. Classic's got 39, but no matter, Theory is the strong.
When this game ends, I'm going to ask our technical director, Ethan, if he can swap over to the Elevate camera. I want to see how their faces have changed, right? From that S&D where they were all smiles, all joking around, drinking some Starbucks, having a good time. I want to see how much their demeanor has changed, and then I want to look at TK and see what they're like, because now the momentum has completely swung, right? They win the Uplink, which is a map that I didn't think TK would win. Yes, they had a chance, but this map, I thought TK were going to get steamrolled by Elevate. But now you've got Theory showing up 42 and 32. He's really been quiet all series long. TK swinging some things in their favor. This one's been done for over a minute. We're going to head now into Skyrise S&D. And this is a map that I've seen TK play on a couple of times. It's going to come down to who can dictate the flow of the map with the Morse sniper rifle. This series is tied up 2-2. Ladies and gentlemen, this one could possibly go the distance.
Yeah, and you know, you talk about the Morse sniper rifle. Theory's the guy who runs that for TK, and he has the hot hand right now. 46 kills on a 3-streak with 14 caps.
Sorry, Dylan,
he
I'm hopping on board with you.
We're going to catch the remainder of what he is able to pull off. But again, going into the next map, if he's a player that can keep this kind of pace up, that's going to be huge for TK, and they could completely turn the series around.
Let's cut to the face cams. Let's see what these guys are like after the map. You can see TK getting hyped. Nameless is up. Smiles on their side of things. Theory's locked in. Sharp's ready to go. They're talking. The fans right behind him. Nameless smiles all over his face.
47 kills.
After this kill, yeah, major stuff from Theory. 14 captures. Let's see what Elevate looks like right now on their side of the booth. Classic. Quiet. Slacked. No smiles in his face. He's just drinking some water. These guys were sipping on Starbucks mocha frappuccinos. Now, the series is all tied up 2-2. Every single front Theory led on in that game for TK. He was dominant from start to finish. The 3 AR setup in the beginning is a major difference maker on that hill number 1 for TK.
Yeah, and can we even talk about that? You know, the second rotation is that bottom bar hill is when I said Theory was leading the lobby in slaying, and he was actually getting beat by Classic. Classic had 39. Yeah. Theory only had 38. Finishes off with 47, and in that same time period, Classic only got 3 kills and finished off at 42. So despite Classic having a nice game for Elevate, again, Theory the entire time was just running them over.
Team game.
Tying it up at 2-2. TK might be firing at all cylinders again. They finally got their first map on the board. Now they got their first 2. What if they don't drop a map for the remainder of this entire tournament?
We'll have to see. I mentioned that TK, I don't know if that's going to happen, but I mentioned that if TK were going to win the series, it would go 7 games. You still feel that way?
I don't know how I feel.
Well,
we're going to find out,
I can tell right now with your voice like that, you're not feeling too good personally. Guys, do not go anywhere. When we come back, Skyrise, search for the story.
That's like
Welcome back. I'm here emotionally supporting Chance in his time of need. Be sure to tweet at him. What'd they say you were? You were nipple? You were what nipples? Your voice sounds like...
My voice sounds like nipple ass.
I mean,
I don't know what that means.
I think that's...
It sounds
right
accurate,
thing to say.
I guess. Yeah, like it makes sense.
With
but
it.
like,
going into something that people might think is nipple ass too is this map, and that's Skyrise. A lot of people are not a fan of it because everything basically explodes. It's much different from High Rise. In MW2, yes, it's got the same setup. It looks very similar, but the big difference is that literally you don't know what's going to explode when you jump on this map. We'll see if it comes back to hurt anyone in this game. Off the start of things, though, what are you going to be looking at for on this map from either of these two teams?
Something we saw a lot of on offense yesterday on the same map when Owen was playing ISO. Way too passive of plays on offense. They get a little bit of map control and just pause, and they wait too much time, and then nothing happens, and the offensive team loses because there's not enough time on the board. And you can see Elevate not wasting any of it. TJ Halley, as well as one of his teammates, already in the spawn of their opponent. They have complete control. Classic tried to shoot at TJ Halley. Might give away a bit of position there, but nonetheless, 3v3 situation. TJ Halley could definitely do some damage.
Bomb is going down on the A site. Will TJ, though, spot Neslo on this backside of the map? Neslo knows someone's around here. Looks like he does see TJ, but TJ melts him in half. 3v2, Elevate with the number advantage. Nameless and Sharp need to go big for their team.
Without a doubt, and of course, that bomb being down is going to be a factor as well. Nameless has an ASM-1, so he's going to get in the farthest position he possibly can from his opponents.
And
now,
he just
though,
stunned himself.
yeah, working towards the bomb side at the very least, but still not a lot of time to start making moves. Got to get 3 kills as well. Classic going to be right next to the bomb site. Going to just win that gunfight instantaneously. The second's going to be Sharp. He's just shooting at bombs. He wants to end it himself, trying to kill himself. It's not going to work. Someone else going to do that job.
Smart. I like the play, though. He knows everything on this map explodes. Just tries to shoot the canister to pick up the 2-piece with it. Didn't work out in his favor. Classic with 2 kills to start off that round. Actually got them both in that kill cam. Let me ask you a quick question, Chance. And this is something that's really bothered me with this map, Skyrise. Why is there... oh, I can't get outside the glass, apparently, because it's blocking my vision. I'll ask you when we get outside.
I was about to say that third-person view getting trapped in immediately.
Look, why is there the Greek Parthenon on the side of the map? Why is that a thing? We're at high-flying buildings, and there's a famous landmark from Greece on the side of the map. Makes no sense to me. A pet peeve of mine, to say the least.
Well, every single DLC map is like kind of themed in a certain place. There's one in Greece. There's one in the Parliament in the UK. They got one in Sydney, Australia.
So there's high-rise buildings.
No.
Skyscrapers.
This is a futuristic game. It's a futuristic game. This is like a giant Skyrise. I don't even know. Actually, that doesn't make any sense because isn't Skyrise like a giant, really tall, like skyscraper hotel?
Yes.
And then the Greek Parthenon. Yeah, no, that doesn't make sense. The city is not that tall.
Yeah.
I know it's on like Mount Olympus or something like that, but no, the elevation is not that high.
I'm offended.
That is pretty bad. Now that you mention it, I'm cool with weird like flying quadricopters.
Yeah.
But that's messed up.
Yeah, I get
Condry.
it. We're futuristic.
Dog.
It's later in life, but come on. The Greek Parthenon next to the Skyrise building, not fair. Off the start of this round, though, Elevate's already up 2-0. I think we just talked about that for 2 straight rounds. TJ picking up first blood. The push coming down the A Street from TK. They haven't been able to make anything happen as of yet. The sniper presence of Theory has been completely useless. Neslo's in the 1v4, gets 1 kill on Classic. Now he's going to get pinched from all different angles, still staying alive and playing his life. Did Slack spot him going into that corner, though. His trophy did run out. He does definitely see him. That timing, though, Neslo's still trying to stay alive. He's got someone with the Moors right above him. He will get cut down. 3-0 lead in Search and Destroy in favor of Elevate. And
I think TK is kind of having the same problems that we were earlier, where they're so confused about the scenery on this map that they just can't handle Elevate. Elevate kind of returning to form. Obviously, we saw in the first S&D, they were able to win 6-3. They looked good more or less the entire time, but as win, they were cranking up the pressure, and more or less they're doing the exact same thing here on Skyrise. Looking pretty good. Perfect round, more or less. Neslo, the only player on TK that is doing any sort of damage.
I'm trying to see which pro just said it, but these matches this weekend have been so ridiculous that a team could basically be looking like they're going to 4-0 very easily, which we saw from Elevate, and then they just lose the next 2 maps in circumstances that you don't think would be their weaknesses in regards to Uplink and then Hardpoint. And then now, TK, who we thought was going to be so sick in Search and Destroy, is getting decimated on this map number 4. Finally, Theory gets on the board with that Moors. Outside of that, though, Theory, Nameless, and Sharp are combined 0-9 through the first 3 rounds.
Yeah, and that is definitely not one you want to have. And more importantly, Neslo, the player that got first blooded, and that's the worst person for TK to go down. Slack still picking up kills with that sniper, just going for random pop shots as well, able to connect with at least 1, and you see he was able to give his team that important man advantage.
Theory trying to spot the player right outside of helipad, isn't able to connect with the shot. Like this play style of just having Saints sit in the back of the map. No reason to get hyper aggressive. DJ spots Theory yet again. He's just going to run away, keeping that number advantage in his favor. Theory peeks with that PDW. That's not going to happen from that much of a range. Sharp in the 1-on-2. Both players are across the map. They both got long-range weapons. He's got a close-range submachine gun. He's got to plant the bomb. If I'm a betting man, he's got about a 5.6% chance of winning this.
Well, he did just pick up a pistol in his back pocket, and he was able to stun Slack, but he's got 10 seconds. They know exactly where he is. Saint's just going to pop out and check this bomb, or he's going to check the B-bomb site, despite the stuns flying in from May, but still Sharp going to have to get away. He's going to sit in the corner. Saint's going to come around and just pre-aim
And, like, that just exploded. Yes, that's not what killed him, but why did that just explode?
Because everything explodes on Skyrise.
Exactly. Exactly.
Like my voice.
Everything explodes on Skyrise. There's the Greek Parthenon there. This map hurts my feelings.
I like it personally. The first time I played on it was a free-for-all, and I went like 30-7. I was like, you know what, Skyrise is cool.
That's one of the few times you go positive when you play COD. I remember when we played Pink Wall back at UMG Dallas, and you went triple negative at Uplink. But let's move on before Chance kills me. As we all know, he is a registered serial. All right, Classic with the bomb in hand. 4-0 start from Slack. Chance, why are you staring at me? Chance refuses to speak. The more is in the hands of Slack. I think Chance has officially lost his voice. Slack in the power position. Up top, I love when a player pulls a sniper up here. Nameless across the map. Does he not see him in that top window? Now he does. Spots Nameless in the window. Gets the headshot on him. First one going to elevate yet again. But what just happened? Something exploded. Theory kills Slack. It's a 3-on-3.
And you know, that's the price that you pay when you go up on that top third sword. You expect as soon as he kills someone on the map, is just going to turn and go for that. Meanwhile, Saints still picking up kills left and right. He's just going to get all three for the final kill cam, the finishing move with the punch. And that's how you really get a knockout, you know? Finally TK starts to get some momentum. He brings out the right hook, is able to pick up two, and then just gives the hands to Neslo. And really, that might just be the knockout blow of this match.
Yeah, Saints 7-2 on a 4 streak. He led that first S&D for Elevate in regards to kills. He's doing it yet again, now 1 round away from going up 3-2 in the series and winning the S&D with a perfect 6-0. Something I do want to point out, I think that every first blood has gone over to Elevate this game. I think all 5.
A majority of them have, if not all, and of course TK, nothing's been working for him as well. Maybe that's the difference maker. Maybe we're going to get some hashtag full sale up in here, and TK is going to make the run. Perfect start for this round, at least able to get the first 2. Of course, though, Saints is a player with the hot hand. He's on a 3 streak. Maybe he can be the guy that does some damage, but nonetheless, TK looking pretty good. More importantly, Saints got shut down.
I feel like we always mention full sale the second of 5-0.
Yeah, every time.
And then like a kill goes in one squad's favor.
We're like, they got it.
Maybe we'll see full sale. No, we probably shouldn't say that until it's like 5-3 and the enemy team's down like a defense and they look like they might actually have a chance. Right now, TK getting on the board. Still too early to say they're going to mount the comeback. That time, though, they got first blood and they ran away with the round. They need to do that time and time again.
Either way, though, think about this. Whatever happens in this match, we already saw TK was able to win 1 uplink. So let's assume that Elevate closes it out, which more than likely they'll do with a 5-1 lead. Odds are definitely in their favor. Yep. Let's say TK makes the comeback for the uplink. Biolab S&D going to be map number 7. Who do you think is going to have the edge for that one?
Biolab S&D, that's one that's going to come down to the sniper power. Again, you expect Theory to have it out on that map. You expect, well, the likes of really anyone in this Elevate squad can wind up pulling it out. Right now, they haven't had anyone with it in their hands. TJ is why I hopped on board with him. He was the first person I thought of in regards to the Moors with this team. But something to point out with Detroit Uplink, which would be our next map in this series, TK has a very set of strategy they use when they try to score on the school side. They have 2 players rush towards middle Atlas, 2 rush towards Green Alley. They have hardwired on the players in Green Alley, hardwired on the players pushing towards Atlas. Or no, they have Blast Suppressor on the players pushing towards Green Alley to not give away their position. They just grab the drone in middle Atlas. They try to go through the stuns with their hardwired. They toss it forward for yards and pick it up and dunk it in the first 20 seconds. We'll see how much studying Elevate did on the squad. Slack spots Nameless. Nameless will fall. 6-1. Elevate wins that map. They're now up 3-2.
That was pretty convincing. Pretty convincing win that they just had an S&D. Even in the end, Nameless did not get a kill until that round. Granted, he was able to get 2, and it would have been a 1v3 clutch had he gotten that, but nonetheless, showed up way too late in the game, not able to make a difference, and it goes back to the way the map started. Is the first 2 rounds, Elevate was dominating. TK able to turn around, squeak spine and win, looked really good on Hardpoint, but we might just fall back into the series where Elevate, they just bring their A game to the table and might just be too strong. But of course, as we said, Detroit Uplink, you're talking about set strategies that TK has, maybe that's something that's going to be able to work against Elevate. We're going to be able to find out after this commercial break.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to a great series on our hands right now. TK down 3-2 to Elevate. They are one map away from being eliminated in only the top 12 here at the MLG Pro League Season 3 Championships live in Columbus, Ohio from the MLG.TV arena. Courage joined by Chance. Chance, how you feeling right now, man? You got that sore throat. Your voice sound a little bit raspy. Get any better or just feeling worse?
Oh, man, I feel on top of the world. This is fantastic.
Wow.
I've never felt better. What the hell kind of question is that? What are you looking for? Do you really think I'm going to go, oh, man, I feel great? No, it's terrible. My voice is complete crap. Sorry.
Chance,
I'm just
I want
lashing
you to
out
feel
a little
better.
bit.
Right now, coming into this one, TK has won 4 rounds in Search and Destroy combined between the 2 they've played so far. Those we thought were going to be, well, pretty much guaranteed victory. Not guaranteed, but must-wins. Oh, here's that play, by the way, from TK. They got completely shut down. Elevate knew exactly what was happening. But yeah, I mean, TK getting outscored 12-4 in S&D. Now in Uplink, Elevate already with that drone inside yellow, but you saw the play developing. Sorry, I was talking about S&D and what was happening. But TK, they sent 2 through green. They sent 2 to middle map. The Elevate squad countered by having 2 pop out of pit to kill them as they were going to the drone, and then they had 2 players near that back trailer area to cut off anyone pushing through green. Heads up play from them. Off the start of the first 45 seconds, the score is still 0-0.
Yeah, without a doubt, if the casters know the opening plays for certain teams, you better believe that the pros are going to know it as well. Yeah. Elevate taking full advantage right now. Might be able to get a 1-point toss on the board. It looks like Slack going to be going underneath Sharp right there. Going to go for that 1-point toss as well, but not before Sharp is finally able to clean up that kill. Still, though, it was Saints that was nearby, although it does appear TK able to stifle that pressure that was being put on them by TK. No, by the other team. Whatever. I don't know, man.
4 players go down. Heads up play from Namus to hold on to the drone. He's going to run that one in for the 2-point dunk. Theory doing a fantastic job of clearing the way for him. A combined 6 streak between Neslo, Theory, and Nameless there for a moment. Neslo now on a 5 streak. This is what they need from Jeremy if they want to stay alive in this series. TK up 2-0. They've already won 1 uplink in this series. Will they win the second?
Well, not sure. We're going to be on board with Brandon trying to cut over through Garage. He's going to get taken down by Slack. Unfortunately, I can't remember Slack's real name. Nonetheless, though, TJ is... Oh, wow, Josiah. That's a really cool name, actually. Nonetheless, though, TK going to get all 4 down in their favor. TJ Halley gets cleaned up in Garage as well. Theory already pushing up very aggressively, trying to get these cutoff kills in school. Going to miss the punch. That's going to be a costly mistake because now they have 0 school control.
I bet you didn't know that Slack was the best basketball player of all the pro players. I bet you also didn't know that Zuma was arguably the best soccer player of all the pro players. These are the things you need to know, Chance. These guys, I've gotten to know them over the last 10 months. They're all great human beings. Dylan now beginning to run this drone. A longtime member of the TK house. He's been living there for a ton of time. And he just got picked off, well, by the boys of Elevate. See, Classic, or Slack, getting that one, showing off the interception right there. That's from football, which I guess he's pretty good at too.
What the hell are you talking about, man? Slack, though, going for the 1-point toss. It looks like that bounce might get in, but Sharp able to intercept that. Whether or not it's going in doesn't make a difference. Again, Sharp was in the correct position, of course. He's going to have to pick up some kills as well. We did see earlier, though, was able to get the kill on Slack earlier for the defensive stance. So despite the fact that TK only has a 2-point lead, they're doing the job, making sure they, good on defensive stance. When they get a scoring opportunity, they are able to capitalize. They just need that map control. Right now, Elevate has just been pressuring mid-map for the majority of the time, and TK has been having problems getting anywhere. And of course, that pass comes in. Neslo was able to pick up a kill right before, but he was completely by himself, and Elevate not going to let that get by.
How many times now has Elevate stopped the drone while being around school or right inside their base? I would argue 4 as well. Great stuff from them to keep it as little of a score as possible. Yes, they are on the less preferred side. They haven't really been able to get much map presence so far. The boys of TK doing a fantastic job of keeping this slang. Even when they do that, they give themselves a much better shot in the respawn game modes. Right now, the drone being run through school. Theory trying to go for that 1-point toss. He'll connect with that one. Now a 3-0 lead.
Yeah, in theory, able to pick up at least 1 kill as well. Of course, that does mean the remaining players from Elevate going to be flooding back through school just to try and keep control of that. Obviously, that being the more important part. But nonetheless, Elevate not quite able to get any points on the board yet. But this is the push where they're going to try and turn that around. Of course, Josiah has that in hand. Going to be cutting through Garage, potentially just waiting for his teammates to be getting at least some kill. And there you see it. Classic pushing through Garage, was able to pick up 1. Saints is going to be there as well. The bounce pass coming in. Saints is going to take advantage of that. The basketball coming in full effect.
Slack is good at basketball, man. The bounce pass coming into play. He's going to get the assist on that one. Elevate on the board. They're only down by 1 on the less preferred side. Pretty strong first half from the Red Rebellion, but TK is putting up more than a fight.
Yeah, and of course now Neslo going to be trying to get more points on the board. Is only going to have 1 player in front of him. Just going to go for that 1-point toss. Honestly, not sure if I agree with that. He had Sharp right behind him. They knew there was only 1 player left in base. Now, granted, guaranteed points are guaranteed points, and you can't shy away from it. Obviously, getting a 2-point lead is important. They still have school control as well, but just a situation, something you consider as this match goes on.
I think on their side of things, right? They just had their main AR player die, and Nameless, who was pushing up there. Also, how many times have they been stopped in Elevate's base in this side of the map? They just want to get a dang point on the board. They do just that. 10 seconds remaining. TK with the only shot of getting in a 1-point play. Sharp's going to move it up towards this white truck. Will he go for the toss? Looks like he won't. That's another one.
Teammates are there, though. That's going to be a dunk.
Theory will dunk it in. Okay, so that's one where maybe his teammates would say, don't go for the toss. Looks like he was going to go for it and then kind of hesitated for a second. They were still able to get it in. TK up 6-2 at the end of the first half.
Yeah, Sharp towards the end, essentially just being a meat shield for his team. It was a 3-on-1 situation at that point. And granted, the time was running down, but TK still had enough time, but they just had to force in the action. Sharp really didn't have enough time to wait for his teammates to push up past him and to get a kill. He had to draw that player out. So whatever, solid play coming in from TK, and I think that's a reasonable lead. Elevate could make the comeback. It's going to be interesting, but I definitely think that TK, if they can make enough defensive stands like they were doing for the majority of the first half, I think they'll be just fine enforcing game number 7.
Well, the entry kill inside of Garage goes in favor of Elevate, but Sharp is there for the body stack. He picks up the 2-piece. 3 kills in favor of TK. They've got 1 person to beat. Neslo trying to go for the 1-point toss, but he gets cut down by Saints off the spawn in yellow. Saints is going to do all he can to try to lock down Garage in this entire second half. He's going to be one of the main difference makers in regards to can Elevate lock down school.
Yeah, and of course, Classic right now going to have a player coming in from his left, but Classic might have been a boxing enthusiast when he was a kid because he's showing off the hands there. Now, of course, that, oh, wow, that, I'm going to let you talk.
Classic with the drone inside of Pit. Has 2 lead blockers, but Nameless gets both of them. 1 final player in favor of Elevate. That's Slack. They still decide to toss it off the map. Heads up play as the pinch was coming in from Theory. He will clear them both out. The drone already reset. Another body stack coming in. Theory almost had another 2-piece on Elevate. Would have single-handedly taken down all 4 players. 3 minutes and 53 seconds remaining. TK so close to forcing that game 7.
And Mama Mia is right. Look at Theory camping that corner, making sure he gets those guaranteed kills. TK doing a very nice job on this second half to just keep control for the majority of the time and taking the opportunities when they get them to make some moves. And at the very least, even if this play gets stopped with Sharp, it looks like he is going to get cut down at the very end as Classic is able to pick up 2. But nonetheless, Classic is going to be forced all the way back in the base. They go for the reset. And by that time, TK is already pushed up and they have mid-map control. And that's all TK TK needs to do. They don't need to get any points on the board. They just need to keep control of the drone, and when they don't have it, they need to make sure that Elevate is turtled up in their base.
TK's basically had a player inside school this whole time. Elevate says, you know what, they're doing a fantastic job of holding down that area. Will rotate it over to green. Unfortunately for Saints, to get 2 players meeting him. Turns back around, tries to go for the beatdown, won't be able to connect with it. Nameless will try to toss it off, but it bounces back. Thankfully for him, his teammate Sharp was there to clear out the last remaining Elevate player in their base. TK still up by 2 possessions. Elevate has yet to be able to score on this preferred side. Yeah,
Nameless really good at those bank shots as well, hitting random pulls, of course. Now, though, Elevate has 2 kills in their favor. Classic going to be wrapping this round. Might just go for the 1-point toss. And, well, yeah, I would laugh at that, too. That is brutal. Nameless, though, getting cut down at the end. There's a player. Slack going to be there for the dunk.
Slack gets it on the board.
That's why you got to make sure you get those resets out. You have 0 time to base, but what a series of events right there. We saw one of the most pathetic 1-point shots we've ever seen in Advanced Warfare, I think, as far as uplink goes, and that turns into 2 points. Josiah was there to make sure getting the assist from his teammate. Weird series, but nonetheless, Elevate making this just a 1-possession game.
TJ beginning to lock down the middle of the map for his team. Will he toss it towards Pit? No, he'll just go for himself. Saints is his lead blocker. This is the player I said to watch on side number 2. He's not checking the locker side of things. He's sitting inside there. Somehow almost wins that gunfight versus Neslo. They're going to rotate it towards the middle street. Go for the 1-point play. TJ Halley gets cut down. Elevate so close to scoring again. It's a 2-on-2. The final push for this drone underway, but the clear coming out of Theory. Heads up play by Dylan to just get it tossed across the map. It's going to be reset for the full 15. A minute and 40 seconds remaining. 2 points separating these 2 squads.
In Theory, on a 3 streak right now, completely killing all the pressure that was being put on them by Elevate. Now Elevate back to that situation where they're kind of pushed back into their base without much mid-map control, and of course TK still picking up those kills. TJ, though, going to be trying to be that drone wizard, able to get into school as well. Saint's going to be coming over for it. Resets the armor smoothly. Going to get the punch on Nameless, now going up mid-map.
TJ deciding to just run it right through middle. He's got 1 more player to beat inside lockers. The drone will be picked up. It's going to be dunked in by Saints. It's all knotted up with 1 minute and 10 seconds remaining. And Elevate still has mid-map and school control. Oh, chance. This might get out of hand quickly unless this player in mid-map can pick up the kill inside school.
This is just like the comeback that we saw when it was on BioLink. They're starting to make the moves. Of course, last time they threw it away making mistakes. This time, another mistake comes in. Missed 1-point toss. Hits the window sill, of course. Last time they missed a 1-point toss, it turned into 2. This time, TK gets that drone out immediately. It might be a situation again where Elevate throws the game away.
Elevate potentially throwing away 2 uplinks in this series. Nameless with the drone on ambulance, trying to go for the 1-point toss. Will it be enough? Will it wind up bouncing in? It doesn't. With 30 seconds remaining, it still is tied up. That one falls right off the map. Elevate in position to get control of school. TJ needs to kill Neslo. He does just that. What did they just do? Elevate just threw the drone off the map when they got the first 2 kills inside school instead of actually pushing that area of the map. Yes, it might have paid off because they still won their gun battles, but now with only 9 seconds remaining, they need to move this one right away. Classic grabs the drone. He pushes towards school. I don't think he's going to have enough time to do this. Elevate might have just lost themselves the game.
1-point toss coming in the last second. It hits the
pole.
Why
would Elevate toss
it out? The pole. I don't know. I have no idea why they would go for that move. And it's weird, too. They were on the good side, and that didn't happen until TJ had already picked up a 2-piece in school. Granted, there was more players from TK that were already spawned back, but it doesn't make any sense. And that is the 3rd missed 1-point toss we had seen from those guys, where they're bouncing it off of crates, bouncing it off of windowsills, bouncing it off of poles. They need to fix their game because, again, they threw away the first uplink. They handed that, gift-wrapped it to TK. TK not going to waste any opportunity. They're definitely going to try and take advantage. If they can force map number 7, that would be huge because, again, Elevate just one, game away from closing out the series and eliminating TK from the tournament.
If you're a fan of TK, you were just handed a gift inside of a box that said, here's your chance. You need to take it. 15 seconds already gone by in overtime. Full school control going over to TK. Sharp just won the biggest gunfight of the entire tournament.
Oh, that's it. That's
far.
a 2-point play. Neslo's going to be able to jump this in. The player
right
below.
That is almost a perfect overtime. Here is something to point out, though. We've seen crazier things happen. If Elevate can get a 4 dead right away, if TJ and Saints can get control of school, they'll be able to match this time.
What if they pull out the play that TK tried to pull out on them earlier, where they send a player on the flank right away and go for the 2-point toss?
They're not doing it. They're just going to try to muscle through the middle of the map. TK sending 1 towards Pit. This is a very heads-up play from them. Theory does die. They've grabbed the drone. They've got it in towards school. They're going for the fast route. He tries to pass it forward. He resets his armor.
They need to match the dunk.
Sharp's there. He picks up 1 kill. The second coming in.
Saints is there.
He dunks it in, and as I mentioned, Elevate get it in time. TK are out of the tournament. What a heartbreaking loss. They had a perfect overtime, and they still fall apart. TK, what a heartbreaker if you're a fan of that squad.
They just did not pick up the kills. They got handed that game again.
Literally, they were given 3 opportunities in that game. They already had won an uplink that they shouldn't have won earlier on in this series. What a frustrating
They were able to score in 28 seconds. 28. That's a great time. Obviously, it's beatable, but that's still a very solid time. That just means you have to stop 1.5 waves, not even 2. Just make sure you get some kills off the break, and they even got the first intro kill. Nameless was the first one that showed up, and then it was like an immediate 3 down. Elevate just sprinted through. It's a good thing they didn't try to go for any sneak plays. They've been overpowering in terms of slaying the entire time, and it worked for them at the end, but my God, if that's not heartbreaking for TK
I'll
fans.
tell you right now what just happened. Saints was leading TJ in towards school. Sharp was on that back white truck. He had the ASM1 or whatever he had. Balth doesn't really matter.
He had a gun.
TJ immediately had Saints as his lead blocker, but Saints predicted someone would be there, so what they did was they had TJ suicide with the drone. He grabbed it and just tried to run it forward. Worst comes to worst, he just dunks it in and the game's over. But they just had him run forward instead of trying to bait out the player. Saints went in towards school window, jumped out, and caught Sharp while he was shooting at his teammate. The drone was right there because he suicided. All Saints had to do was take 2 steps in towards the locker's hallway, grab the drone, and dunked it in what, 18, 20 seconds in that side number 2? Man, I'm hurt. I'm hurt. TK's out, and it's still midday Saturday.
It's very early on. I think they're joining. The only teams that have gotten eliminated are Rise and TCM.
Rise, TCM, and TK all eliminated. What's your biggest surprise there?
Biggest surprise? Probably none of them. Maybe Rise, honestly. Rise is probably the biggest one to me, especially the way they came out in the tournament going for the 4-0 against TK early on. But after that, honestly, I predicted TK. They had a great performance at DC, but I didn't think they'd be able to hold on. They've been very inconsistently shaky in Advanced Warfare. Now, granted, that is not the way I thought it was going to go down. I thought if they were going to get handed games, they're definitely clutch enough to pull it off. But again, they just weren't able to follow through, and that just kind of results in what's been going on for TK in Advanced Warfare.
A weird series, to say the least, but I got a present for you all at home. Up next on the Bravo stream, we'll have another elimination match.
Sure. This
one between Denial and Optic Nation. Which squad will wind up coming out on top?
Denial. Oh, sorry, you weren't asking me. You were asking the fans. Which team will come out on top? That is the question. Optic Nation actually did look pretty good on main stage.
They did.
And I didn't even watch them play. That's what I'm saying. I heard Miracles drop 50 bombs. Apparently, they might just be coming out in jazz hands and doing some crazy stuff.
Don't go anywhere, guys. When we come back, Denial versus Optic Nation.